after heavy speculation, there's at least been some sign that perhaps we will see Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez on January 31st, 2026 in New York City. We're going to take a listen to Chris Mannix speak about this as if he has some inside information. I don't know who his source is, but here's what he reported.
From what I'm told, it is a done deal. We are going to get Teofimo against Shakur in New York City last weekend in January. I think January 31st is the targeted date right now. I've said this before, I don't necessarily love that fight in the ring. I think it has the potential to be a stinker based on the styles of both guys. But Shakur is the top dog at 135 pounds. Teofimo is the top guy at 140 pounds. If you can get guys of that caliber in the ring together, that's a good idea. That's a good fight. I'm glad they finally got it done. I think Madison.
All right. You heard that there. Complex. Your reaction, and do you feel like this fight is going to be a stinker?
I feel like it could be. But first off, before we get there, let me talk about it's a great fight, right? It's a fight we've been talking about for a long time, right? A lot of press conference, thugging, whatever. You saw T.O. at the Terrence Crawford press conference, and they were talking to each other. They're barking. Let's actually get to the hands, right? Can we see some hands, please? And I'm excited for that if this happens in January. It's a couple months away, enough time to promote the fight, and that's a big fight for New York City as well. I think that would be huge. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope it does happen. It's a good fight. You got like Chris Mannix said, you got the top guys at basically 135 and 140. And this is something for years we've been really kind of wondering, how good is Shakur Stevenson? Everybody's like, Shakur Stevenson might be the best out of this bunch of, young guys. He's really that dude. And, there's guys who've been like singing his praises for years, but we've never actually seen him in a fight or in a place where we're like, okay, wow, like, yeah, he is that dude. You know what I mean? And I think he needs Tio to make that happen. Tio did that when he beat Lomachenko. He showed like, okay, I'm that dude, right? He became at the time, sort of undisputed or whatever, somewhat, but he showed that was his big win. He went up to 140. I think he's a lineal champ at 140 as well. So, he's like a two-time ring champion, something like that. So Tio's done that. We need Shakur to do that now. And I think Shakur has the opportunity to. I think he has the skills to, but he also has this thing where he gets in the ring and there's guys he's supposed to beat mollywop, and he kind of like, I don't know. And you remember that one fight where Timothy Bradley was going nuts, like, what are you doing?
To be fair, Bradley goes nuts regardless.
That is true. You remember last week? You suck her? You suck her?
You look dirty, my boy. Take a shower.
Yeah.
Be shaved.
But yeah, I think the fight could be good, but like I said, it all comes down to Shakur. Like, I think Tio could push the fight. Shakur has to push the fight as well. This is not just guys have to get in there, realize it's not just about winning the fight, right? You got to also excite the crowd a bit, because you guys are not like later stage Floyd, where it's like you've built up the fight and now it's like, because even then Floyd still made the fight a little bit exciting, even though people sometimes didn't enjoy it all the time, because it was like he was very defensive minded and just like kind of getting guys to a 12-round decision. You guys didn't go through the Pretty Boy Floyd and build up your career that way first, right? So Shakur, even though if like you're kind of trying to be a counterpuncher and kind of wait for guys to make mistakes, you can't do that. You got to force the issue and make a guy make a mistake. So you got to bait him into things. You got to get in there. You got to get a little dirty. You can't just like wait for him to make a mistake so you could capitalize on it for 12 rounds. Nobody wants to see that. So I hope they do fight, but I hope they make it exciting. It's in NYC, which is on the East Coast, so that's close enough for us to make it pretty easily. So who knows? You might see, some boxing bros in your vicinity coming soon. You know what I mean? But it's a good fight. I hope it happens. And I hope it's a good fight, really, for both guys, because I think boxing needs those good fights to bring back, the fans, to really build up the names again. So I hope it's a good fight more than anything. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it.
This is hopefully, I'm still waiting because the way boxing works, anything can happen last minute. But I'm still waiting for the official announcement. But I've heard this from multiple reliable sources. So one, I want to salute Teofimo Lopez for taking on the challenge, and two, I want to salute Shakur Stevenson for taking on the challenge. I think they both want to be great, and that is to be commended. So I respect it. I think Teofimo Lopez is very talented. Like you said, sometimes he fights to the level of his competition, like the Claggett fight. We've seen him in some stinkers. Shakur Stevenson, we've seen him in some stinkers, but it's usually because he's dominating so much. Every round looks the same, and he never forces the issue to try to get the knockout. To me, what we have here is an opportunity for either Teofimo Lopez or Shakur Stevenson to catapult themselves into superstar status, to make themselves one of the big names in boxing. And a lot of that's going to depend on how they perform on the night. So Teofimo Lopez, to me, he has the ability to do a little bit of everything. He's fast. He punches hard. He's a good boxer. He can counter. To me, phenomenal fighter. Shakur Stevenson is probably, honestly, the most skilled fighter in the game, with the exception of Terrence Bud Crawford. And the guy who's up next, many people believe, what this is an opportunity for Shakur to prove he is up next. And this is why I'm saying this, because if Shakur goes out there and he outclasses Teofimo Lopez, he will have the best victory out of any of his peers. His victory over Teofimo Lopez would be better than any victory Devin has. It will be better than any victory Richardson Hitchens has.
Any better than you said better than any victory Haney has?
Yes. Better.
All right. I'm gonna let you finish.
So yes, it would be better than any victory that Devin Haney has. Devin Haney has victories over George Kambosos. I know that he beat Teofimo Lopez, but Teofimo Lopez, this is what I mean about BoxRec not telling the story. Teofimo Lopez came out that first round and just complete disrespect for George Kambosos. And he almost stopped George Kambosos in the first round. Kambosos landed a counter, dropped Teo, that changed the complexion of the fight. Then Teo gathered himself midway through the fight and then started whooping on George Kambosos again. And if they fought 15 rounds like they did back in the days, then Teo would have won that fight. So it's a definitely not out of the realm of possibility that, Teo could have beaten George Kambosos in a rematch. Now, when you talk about Devin Haney's victory over Vasily Lomachenko, my response would be, what victory? I saw Vasily beat Devin. The world saw Vasily beat Devin. He's lucky he got that decision. So, again, I stand on what I say when I say that if Shakur dominates Teofimo Lopez, his victory would be better than any victory on Devin Haney's resume. To me, that will make him the leader of the pack, and that will make him that dude. And what Floyd used to do was Floyd used to shut out great offensive fighters like Teofimo Lopez. So to me, Shakur can do what he usually does, which is just avoid getting hit and keep tagging someone for 12 rounds. Because if he shuts out Teofimo Lopez and he makes Teofimo Lopez look average, that's not a stinker to me. That's called boxing. So I think he has that opportunity. Then if Teo knocks out Shakur, or he beats Shakur, again, to me, that's better than any victory Devin Haney has on his resume. And mainly because, I'm being honest, I think both of them would beat Devin Haney. So this, to me, is the fight to create that new guy, that superstar. And if people have a problem with that, tell Devin to fight one of them. Because, Shakur did get in the ring and said, let's do it, and Devin ran out. And Teofimo Lopez been chasing around Devin, trying to get Devin in the ring. So personally, I feel like these guys have great skill. And if whoever wins that fight, to me, puts themselves in position to be a major superstar, and yes, bigger than Devin Haney. All right, you guys go ahead.
Bro, what did Devin Haney do to you? Because you be taking shots at this man so much. It's so funny. Like, I don't consider myself a Devin Haney fanboy, but talking to you, I feel like I have to be, because it's like the amount of hate that you have for Devin Haney is just hilarious, dude. I don't know where it comes from, but
I don't know why it's called hate. I didn't say anything personal, disrespectful. All I said was actual facts. It's not hate. It's like when I was calling out Wilder, he's calling it hate too. It's just I'm just calling out what
whatever you want to call it. It's whatever you want to call it. Maybe
Listen.
hate is too strong a word, but I don't know. There's a thin line between love and hate. But somewhere in between there. It's somewhere in between there. Look, I don't want to make this about Haney. Yeah, that'll come down the line. I think those are great fights in the future, right? I feel like maybe this 147 division could be like the meeting point of everybody, right? You got Shakur coming up from 135 and him moving up to 140 to fight Teo. Then if those two mix it up, and then they could both move up to 147 and we can see some big fights happen. You got Ryan, I think, coming up to 147. You've got the Rolly at 147 now. You've got all these guys. So we can make the welterweights great again. You know, the welterweight division used to be the glamour division of boxing. And you always had right around there some of the best fights in the division. There's something about that 147-pound division. So hopefully we can see some good fights.
Yeah, it's weak. It's weak. The 147-pound division is weak. That's why your boy...
Everybody's moving up.
That's why your boy, Devin Haney, fought one fight at 140 and then moved up to 147 because he wanted to avoid Teo. He wanted to avoid Richardson Hitchens. He wanted to avoid the smoke. And he knows that Shakur Stevenson is on his way up to 140. 140 is hot. So what he did was he moved up to 147 so he can pick on Brian Norman. He thinks he can pick on Brian Norman. Then he can fight Rolly. Then he can fight Mario Barrios. You can say whatever you want. Everything I'm saying is based on fact and logic. You can go look it up. Okay? Shakur was in the ring with him and said, let's do it when he was undisputed at 135. He ran out the ring. Then he lost to Ryan Garcia, who's never been champion before, but he got that loss expunged. Now, then he moved up to 140, said the weight was too much, ran from Ramirez and got the victory, was supposed to get a rematch with Ryan Garcia at 140, but Ryan Garcia lost to Rolly. Then he looked at the landscape of 140 and said, oh, Hitch is here. Matias is here. Teofimo Lopez is here. Shakur is on his way here. And
what do you know? Did he won a belt at 140? He beat what's his face? He beat what's his face and got the belt.
Regis Prograis.
Regis Prograis. He was the champion at 140.
Regis, the weakest dude at 140. Regis Prograis. You're right. I forgot about that. Yeah, and we're not even going to talk about him rehydrating 25 pounds to fight Regis, but that's cool. Look, again, like I said, these are facts. So you're right. He fought Regis Prograis, then he fought Ramirez, and 140 got hot. He ran. And just to quote Bill Haney, when it gets hot at 135, we're gonna move. So this is their plan. These are all facts. So you can try to make it seem like it's hate, but some people are just calling out the script and the blueprint. I see what it is. 147, it seems a lot easier. This dude rehydrates 25 pounds anyway. So he said, you know what? I'm gonna jump up, and every time Devin Haney will never be in the same division as Shakur. He'll never be in the same division as Teo. That's why, to me, they are better than him until he fights them because he's running from them. That's how I see it. That's how I've been seeing it. You can call it hate, you can call it whatever, but prove me wrong when his own daddy said it. His daddy said it. The video's out there. When it gets too hot, when Shakur moves up, we're going to move up. They're always going to be one weight class above Shakur. Book it.
So Haney now, the undisputed champ at 135 has got a run. Now he already beat Lomachenko. He beat Kambosos. He beat all these guys. He's got to stick around for Shakur. Right?
How many people did Devin Haney beat to become undisputed at 135?
Prove to
how many
you
fighters
guys,
did Devin Haney beat to become undisputed?
It doesn't matter. He won the.
It does matter. It does.
He won the belts. He doesn't have to improve anything else at 135. He goes up to 140, wins a belt, becomes champion, fights. Then he fought Ryan. He lost, gets expunged, moves on, and decides I'm moving up to 147. Right? Look, Devin doesn't
Did
have
you
to
see Devin Haney celebrating when George Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez? Did you not see that? Devin Haney called George Kambosos and gave him tips on how to beat Teofimo Lopez from their sparring session.
The guy who beat the guy, he's running from the guy who beat the guy.
To the point where when he was going to fight George Kambosos was calling him a snitch and a rat because he was like, what you did was lame. You took secrets you knew about Teo and told it to me because you wanted me to beat Teo. Why did Devin want George Kambosos to beat Teo? So he didn't have to step in the ring with Teo. Listen,
so he had to face the guy who beat the guy he's scared of?
Yes.
All right, you guys. Looking.
Yes.
It's corner to corner. Shakur versus Teo. New York City, January 2026. It's going down. We hope. We don't know. Let's see what happens. All right. But if they face off, who do you think? Shakur versus Teo. Do both of them beat Haney? I mean, let us know. What do you think? Is this
yes.
all these
in the comment section right now? When you see this, let us know. Do you think Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson would beat Devin Haney?
Yo, it's corner to corner with Caden and Complex. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit us up in the comments. We respond. We talk to you guys. Let us know what you think. It's corner to corner. We out, baby. Peace.